up guys, it's the Fighting Therapist here, and for today's video, talk about them bunions. Before we jump into the video guys, please don't forget to subscribe with that notification bell, give this video a like, you know, the thumbs up button, click. Trying to grow this channel as much as possible, help you guys as much as possible, answer all your questions that you may have when it comes to treatments and rehab and exercises and nutrition and, you know, life, all that stuff. Without further ado, bunions. Now, if I tell you how many athletes have bunions, man, I think Shaquille O'Neal just posted a video where Kevin Hart shared his feet.
Hey, man.
And damn, they look like some nasty ass dry dinosaur feet. It's not good. It's really not good, really not good. Bunions is the big one, especially for fighters. And when you look at fighters that need to have a nice stable base with that nasty toe that is like pointed, you know, what is that, west, like that way and not north. Wow, it is gruesome. And a lot of the times it's because of the footwear we wear. We don't train our big toe and we don't actually do any exercises for our feet. Yet what we do is we do a lot of hand stuff. That's where our fingers are so malleable. Well, that would be like bendable. Our fingers are so versatile in what they can do. That's a way better word, versatile. Dictionary check. Yeah. And our toes aren't so much unless you actually train them. And one of the biggest factors when you put wrestling shoes on, boxing shoes on, for those other athletes out there, when you're wearing football cleats, soccer cleats, everything like that, yes, it might be better for their sport, but you're compromising your toe with that closed toe box and getting a lot of that valgus that's actually happening at your toe. And what's that doing? We're gonna go back to the shitty drawing, guys. Okay, so these are your toes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right here is your big toe. So you see how it's pointing more inwards, right? And then right here is the inflamed spot. So in some people, their bunion will actually be worse than others. There's actually grades of this, and I've wrote a great newsletter on this. So if you haven't subscribed, down below there's a link to my newsletter where I actually share a lot of this content and information. So what happens at the bunion is your body is an amazing phenomenon, and it will always compromise and do things to not allow it to get hurt, right? So what happens is when we're in these positions where our shoes pretty much just clamp us together, what that does, it's noticed that the joint itself is placed under stress. And because it's placed under stress, it's more prone to getting injured. So then what's gonna occur is your body's gonna start to calcify and actually produce more bone in that area, right? Kind of like a bone spur sticking out to actually protect it, so that if we're gonna go further and further and further, it's going to produce more and more bone so that we can actually protect the joint from breaking or anything like that, or, you know, dislocating and stuff like that. Injury. Depends on the injury. You actually see a lot of this when it comes to older individuals where they have their neck sticking out and they have this huge like bunion sticking in the back of their neck. And that's because with their vertebral column, because their neck is faced forward and their vertebrae are placed on a shearing type motion, their disc will actually start to protrude and cause, well, their bones, let's say, will do the same thing that's happening in the foot and grow and calcify and protect that joint area. And to break that down is tremendously hard, and that's why a lot of bunion treatments are surgical protocols, because you're gonna have to shave all that bone down, clean it, do everything like that, and then a lot of the times what happens is that it can grow back, because the body is so used to being placed in the position that it's gonna grow back. Now, it's not with all cases, but with the majority of cases, that is the problem. And that's why I don't, you know, if your bunions are really fucking bad, you go do the surgery because it's gonna alleviate the most amount of pain for you. But if you're suffering like crazy and you're not at that stage where it's like completely destructive to you and with pain, these are some simple protocols that you could be doing, and we're gonna list them out kind of right now in the exercises that I'm gonna give you guys. I myself have had very bad bunions starting at a young age because I was placed in a whole bunch of sports, hockey, soccer, football, rugby, and so on and so forth. And I wasn't really training my feet. No one was really there to coach me, to tell me these things. So I've actually lost like a lot of like mobility in my foot. But then in this past like 3-4 years, I've been doing a lot of treatment on myself. I've been massaging the area. I've been really reducing the amount of redness and inflammation that's in that big toe, pretty much. and it's actually been doing wonders for me. And the other big thing that I did was switch to shoes. Now, if you saw me in my last video, I talked about this affiliate and company that I'm working with, and their name is Zero Shoes, okay? Like X-E, right? Zero, R-O. And they actually make like minimalist shoes. There are other companies out there like Vivo Barefoot, there's Lems, there's other shoe companies that make them, and I've actually bought from every single one. And these are honestly, when it comes to comfort, when it comes to function, when it comes to me boxing and training and not having the bottom of the shoe kind of get stuck when I'm turning corners to throw a punch or anything like that, or a kick, these are my favorite shoe. When it comes to running, they're just so much more comfortable, less stiff. I enjoy them thoroughly, and I'm not saying this because I'm affiliated with them, and I'm not recommending like you guys go buy this to fix your bunion thing. That's like not what I'm saying. But if you're looking at what's causing the bunions, you're working 8 hours a day, let's say, or you're walking for at least 8 hours a day. You're putting your foot in that position 8 hours every day for how many years that you've actually been doing that. Heels, shoes, the cleats, like everything. When it comes to fighters, when we're doing boxing training, we're in those shoes. Then when we finish the gym, we don't even do anything for the foot. We go straight out, we put our running shoes on and we go out. Basketball shoes, same thing. We're not helping our foot whatsoever with what we're putting on them. And if you can actually just fix that problem, get the damn shoes. Like it's that simple. So what I love about these shoes, and I talked about this in my plantar fasciitis video, is they're an open toe box shoe, and they allow, so they have like a wide base, right? So this will be your big toe is pointing straight up. They allow your feet to actually splay and to not get that big toe to kind of curve inwards. And this is why I love them so much. If you guys wanted the link down below, go check it out. Go check out the shoes. They're nice. They have women, they have kids, they have adults. They also have these cool sandals. Like, the company is doing great things. I got to speak with the CEO and the owner of the whole company. Amazing dude. And he's trying to do a lot and create as much for athletes, for people, for active individuals, and to really just care about the feet. That's in line with what I want to do. So I'm very happy that I get to work with these guys. So go check that out. That's gonna be number one, 100%. You're gonna wanna fix the thing that you're doing the most, which is wearing shitty shoes. Next, are gonna be a couple of protocols and exercises, and you know, might use some tools that you're gonna wanna use on your foot. So the first one is gonna be a simple massage. And the reason being is that we wanna try to pump out and move around a lot of that inflammation that's in the area, a lot of the, let's say, scar tissue. We kind of want to break that down slowly. So when it comes to inflammation and anything like that, it's not going to move on its own. The lymphatic system are what actually moves inflammation to the body. So that's why doing some type of effleurage massage towards the heart and actually just trying to break down the scar tissue is going to be the first step, or the second step, because the shoes were the first one. So what we do in therapy is called like traction. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the finger-like position that you see me grabbing, then you see me grabbing the big toe, and my thumbs are pretty close to the joint itself. And I'm just gonna traction that area a little bit and move it around. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna open up that joint itself and get the fluid and the synovial fluid that's inside that joint to actually move and exchange and get more nutrients to that area that it hasn't been getting due to the inflammation that was there before. So a little bit of that is gonna do some good. Next, we're gonna want to work on big toe extension and big toe flexion. Now, because of all the shoes you've been wearing and not actually training your foot, you're gonna wanna do this passively and active assistedly. So just trying to lift the toe and bring it down as much as possible. Trying to do it by yourself and not letting the toe veer in towards the outside of your foot, more towards the inline, so doing more adduction. Sometimes you're not gonna be able to do it by yourself, so what you're gonna wanna do is kind of start the movement and then guide it with your fingers, right? So we're just trying to go through the motion and guide it through our fingers, and then that would be the passive way to do it, all out. And then if you're gonna try to activate it yourself and moving it with your hands, that's gonna be the active assisted range of motion, pretty much, extension and flexion. Next, what we're gonna wanna do is get some big toe extension stretch. So this, you can take a yoga block, you can do it at the edge of a wall, you can do it on a ball, just making sure that it's up against something so it doesn't roll out. And what you're gonna wanna do is try to keep the base of your first big toe on the floor and then try to extend that big toe as far back as possible, because of the bunion that occurred, you're gonna lose a lot of range of motion. And extension is one of the needed range of motion that we need in our body to actually walk, run, squat, everything like that. And we need that big toe be moving. So just to get it in that range of motion, we're just gonna do an active static stretch, holding it there. What's great about this exercise is you can actually do a PNM type pattern. So you're gonna hold that big toe there. You're gonna try to push it down for about 5-6 seconds. You're gonna wait about 3-4 seconds. Then you're gonna try to push it even further into the block where you kind of have it just like sticking out. Okay, and you're gonna wrap it around the big toe and around your bone. So what that's gonna do, it's kind of called voodoo band flossing. That's gonna do, the compression is gonna decrease and cause a hypoxic state because there's not a lot of blood flow going to the area. You're gonna start moving the joint and the toe itself for about a minute, 2 minutes. Then you're gonna take off the rubber band, and that's not only gonna pump a lot of the fluid out where the bunion is, but you're actually gonna get a lot of new nutrients into the area. So we're just trying to utilize a whole bunch of tools that we can do to kind of implement and help that toe as much as possible. Next, what we're gonna wanna do is some banded assisted range of motion. So now instead of actually using your hands, you're gonna put your foot on the floor. We're gonna try to make sure that the base of our first is stuck on the ground. We're going to pull the toe outwards with a band, right? Super simple. So you can either hold it with your hand, hold it on your other toe, and you're gonna try to flex, well, extend and flex the toe back and forth while maintaining contact with the floor with the other toes. That's gonna be the first goal. Just to be able to do that is a lot more than most people could do. Later on, trying to move it without the band and without it coming into the middle, that's gonna be like the final step. The last thing that we're gonna wanna do a lunge while maintaining like contact with the base of first. So what you're gonna wanna do is take the band that you just used, put it under the first, take that other band and attach it to something, which means that if you were doing a lunge or you were trying to load your foot, if you let go and you actually lifted your toes up, that band would fly. So it's kind of give you kind of like a biofeedback type of feel. And you're gonna wanna just do a couple of lunges while holding your arch in that big toe there. That's gonna teach you how to apply force through that area, since a lot of the times when you do have like those bunions, you tend to be more on your heels or your fifth, and you're not really able to kind of get that tripod feel that we want when your coaches or strength and conditioning coach is talking about that tripod feel. That's what it is. So it's going to help you establish that. Now I hope all of this information was helpful and you guys kind of understand what you can do. For more natural remedies, I did check through like, you know, these past years of things that you can do. There's a lot of things that call apple cider vinegar and you can like wrap it around your toe and stuff like that, but no, like don't do that. Work to like the treatment stuff, do the natural things that you can actually utilize with your hands and treatments and exercises to actually help the injury. When it comes to inflammation, again, inflammation out and in are two things that we can actually utilize. So grabbing some turmeric to natural anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, it plays a big part. There's a lot of research on turmeric. Don't forget, if you want to enhance the absorption rate and just the utilization of it, you're going to want to mix a little bit of black pepper with it. And you're also going to want to add some fats with it, since turmeric is more of a fat soluble vitamin. And if not, if you don't have the fat, if you don't have the black pepper, your digestive system and bile will just kind of completely destroy it and you're not going to actually absorb it. So getting into turmeric, if you look at Michael Dr. Greger on nutritionfacts.com, put the link down below. He actually recommends, I think it was a teaspoon. So a teaspoon a day does great. Put it in like a turmeric latte. I like doing that. Put it in a smoothie, put it in some foods. Honestly, however you want to do it. That's going to be the best way to attack internal and external inflammation for your big toe. That's it. So, bunion treatment, it's your boy, that's Zach. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to know anything or you have some questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll gladly answer them. See you guys in the next video. Punch, headbutt, elbow, knee, peace.